Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Please be seated. Good morning, members of the class of 2024, family members and friends. Welcome to the 26th annual hooding ceremony of the University of Chicago Law School. Today, in addition, on the chancel, we are joined by many members of the law school faculty who are here to salute and recognize the graduating class. And in addition, we are joined by two special guests that I want to recognize. We're joined by Mary Lou Gorno, who is Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of the University and a graduate of Booth School of Business. And we are also joined by Professor Randall Kennedy, who is the Michael R. Klein Professor at Harvard Law School. A few moments ago, at the ceremony on the quadrangle, at which I think one of you was present, the university awarded Professor Kennedy an honorary doctorate in law in recognition to his preeminent scholarship on race relations law, for pioneering this field, and for his original and courageous contributions to it, as well as his fearless advocacy of open academic inquiry. I am honored these special guests are with us. Please join me in a round of applause to welcome them and to congratulate Professor Kennedy. It's very good to be with you today to celebrate this milestone for the class of 2024. For members of the class, today marks the completion of an intellectual journey. It is the conclusion of your time as students at the law school. Your journey began when you chose to go to law school, and more than that, you chose to come to our law school. You chose not any law school, but the University of Chicago. You came to a school with an unapologetic enthusiasm for the life of the mind, a conviction that ideas matter, that they're worth discussing, a school that doesn't impose a single point of view or style of thought, but instead that exposes you, our students, and faculty alike, to contrasting views, and we have a confidence in your ability to think critically and independently and to choose your own path. But more than this, you came to a law school with a faculty eager to teach our students. In addition to being path-blazing scholars, they are eager to share knowledge with you and to enter into dialogue with you. In short, members of the class of 2024, you came to a very distinctive law school that has a distinctive culture, and we are very glad that you did. The distinctive features of our law school don't result entirely from governance documents or the edicts of the faculty. They are, to a good degree, a culture, an ethos, a set of values that are made tangible by each generation of students, experiencing them and coming to embrace them. Class of 2024, you did this in a remarkable fashion. You came and you showed a deep enthusiasm for ideas and for learning. And you have, during this time, learned a good deal of the law itself. Topics such as Chevron deference, Revlon duties, maybe even younger abstention, are now old friends. Between now and the bar exam, if you need a reminder, July 30th and 31st in most states, you'll surely learn a lot more law. But more than the content of the law itself, at our law school, you learned how to think about legal questions, the thorniest legal questions. You learned how to read legal materials with discernment and subtlety. You learned the art of common law reasoning. You learned different ways of interpreting legal texts. But still more than that, you developed habits of mind. You acquired a particular intellectual disposition, a disposition of questioning and discussion, probing assumptions and logical steps, probing the quality of evidence. You learn to approach problems from multiple perspectives and to probe justifications. This disciplined way of thinking is characteristically Chicago, and now you too possess the Chicago penchant for rigor in thought. This way of thinking and this rigor of learning is not easy to develop. It took long effort. You learned it over many days and nights of study and discussion with your faculty and with your classmates. All of the hours that you spent in classrooms and in clinics, in Socratic dialogue with the faculty, as well as the hours that you spent in library carols, in the Green Lounge, in journal offices, studying, outlining, writing, rewriting, rewriting again, discussing, arguing, and ultimately thinking. It was hard work. You did it. Congratulations. This makes today a day of achievement and completion, but it is also a day of possibilities and beginnings. Today, your journey as a student at the University of Chicago Law School comes to its end. Today, your journey as an alum of the University of Chicago Law School begins. And as your journey as an alum begins, I have two wishes for you. First, stay connected with your classmates and with the law school. Our admissions office was very wise in admitting you to the law school. Our admissions office was also very wise in surrounding you with classmates who are brilliant, intellectually curious, and have a great capacity for friendship. As I told you at matriculation, the JD class hails from 88 different undergraduate institutions. Our LLM class hails from 26 different countries. You learned together and from each other. At times, a classmate gave such a great answer to a cold call that you took notes on it. Or they asked a question you thought was so good you wished you had thought of it yourself. At other times, you and classmates worked side by side on a clinic and drafting a motion, or they gave you feedback on a comment, or maybe they rehearsed with you the choreography for the law school musical. A person can go to law school only once, and your classmates and you now have a set of shared learning experiences that can never be replicated. 3 weeks ago, the law school class of 1969 celebrated its 55th reunion. Like you, the class of 1969 attended and graduated at a time of great challenges, including sharp divisions of opinion within the class. But the class of 1969 has enduring bonds of shared learning and friendship despite their differing views. Often, my faculty colleagues say, at the University of Chicago, we aspire to be tough on ideas, not on people. Now, members of the class of 2024, please note, Friday and Saturday, May 5th and 6th, 2079 will be your 55th reunion. Mark your calendars now. I will be 111 years old then. I plan to be there to give you an update on how the law school's doing and to learn what you have done with your University of Chicago education. In that reunion, and of course in all the reunions before then, and in all the many opportunities before then to stay connected with each other and with the law school, continue to nurture those bonds of connection with each other and with our school. You have learned much here and learned much from each other. Continue to do that as your alumni journey continues. Second, as you begin your professional careers, bring the University of Chicago values with you. Your careers may take many paths: clerkships, government service, big law, small law, public interest, or leaving the practice of law altogether for business, for entrepreneurship, or some grand adventure. All these paths are worthwhile, and in your career you may have the opportunity to do more than one of them. You may at different points in time be able to do all of them. But whatever your professional work is, it is certain to involve large and thorny problems. Now, I don't know if the clients you will have or the organizations you will serve will seek your expertise on Chevron deference, Revlon duties, or Younger abstention. But I am confident that all of them will need your rigorous analytical minds and your sound judgment. Indeed, it is whether our institutions and our society meet our high expectations for them, whether they're able to protect legal rights, advance justice, and improve the quality of life, will depend upon the insights, the skills, the services that you will bring to them. And the skills and values and knowledge you acquired here will help you tackle these large and thorny problems that our institutions and our legal system confront. And on this day, as you graduate from the law school, we celebrate your accomplishments. And on this day, as you begin your professional careers, we look forward with confidence to all that you will accomplish with the education you received here and with the values that we hope that you will bring with you from here. We are proud of you. Now go out into the world and make us proud again. Congratulations. It's now my thrill and honor to introduce our distinguished alumnus of 2024, Mr. Barry Fields. Barry Fields is a member of the law school class of 1991. He has led an incredible career as a litigator with a practice focused on complex and high-profile cases. He is also an outstanding civic leader who has generously served numerous organizations, especially the University of Chicago. Before enrolling in our law school, Mr. Fields obtained his undergraduate degree summa cum laude in chemistry from Bellarmine University. And upon graduating from our law school, he served as a law clerk to Judge Boyce Martin of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. He then joined the firm Kirkland & Ellis and began an astonishing career as a litigator and a trial lawyer. He became a partner in 1997. He has gained renown for his agile and deft work at the intersection of science-related issues and complex commercial disputes. Many of his clients were important professional services firms and Fortune 500 companies. These entities trusted him to guide them through their most difficult and highest stakes situations. He has litigated in varied and complex areas of law. He is famed for securing early favorable outcomes for his clients, whether in bellwether trials, summary judgments, or outright settlements. Mr. Fields retired from the practice of law last year, but he is by no means retired. Throughout his inspiring career, Mr. Fields has been a selfless and inspiring civic leader. He has given generously of his time and expertise to entities such as the Chicago Appleseed Fund for Justice. He has been a member of the Board of Trustees of his undergraduate institution, president of the Chicago chapter of the Federal Bar Association, president of the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. And the University of Chicago has been a special beneficiary of Mr. Fields' commitment. Last year, he became the chair of the board of the university's medical center. For several years, he has been a trustee of the university itself, and just last week, he was elected vice chair of the board of the university as a whole. He's been a member of advisory committees across the campus. I'm very fortunate that he is a member of the Law School's Council. He is a trusted advisor and friend to many deans on campus, and I am honored to count myself among them. His commitment to our university is unmatched. And this commitment has included, for a decade, service as a lecturer, where he has taught pretrial strategy and litigation. Many of you have taken his class, and I've read the teaching evaluations. You rave about his teaching. You praise his expertise and how it is conveyed with dry humor and captivating presentations. One student wrote that taking a course with Barry Fields was a phenomenal experience. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I will be a better lawyer because of it. I can think of no higher praise for an instructor. I am thrilled that he is the 2024 Distinguished Alumnus of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Barry Fields.
Dean Miles, thank you for the kind introduction. Faculty, distinguished guests, proud families, and most importantly, the law school graduating class of 2024, good afternoon. I'm honored to be part of this celebration and to be present as you begin or continue a wonderful professional journey. In June 1991, 33 years ago, I sat in this very chapel waiting to receive my diploma. At that point in time, my then girlfriend, Kim, was in the audience. And she's actually in the audience again today, except she's my wife of 32 years. We have two wonderful children, Courtney and Nicholas, and also a son-in-law, Courtney's husband, Carlos. And my mother was also at that event, and if there are not any sort of technical challenges, I imagine she's probably watching it on live stream today. One of the things I think is crucial is to have a very supportive and loving family. That's one of the keys to having a fulfilling and rewarding career. And I'm blessed to have had one and currently have one. Not surprisingly, my career meant that I missed some family dinners, or a number of family dinners, some school events. I missed some other events, and I spent less family time than I would have liked to have spent in a perfect world. And that's a challenge that many of you will face in the future if you're not already facing it. But our family adapted to this challenge. We believed that dedication, hard work, and some sacrifice would create great opportunities for us and also those around us, and we were indeed correct. As a trustee of the university, as a lecturer of law, and as a proud alumnus of the law school, I express my heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2024. You have accomplished a feat that many people have dreamed of, but far fewer have achieved. Whether you're receiving a JD degree, an LLM degree, or any other degree, today is a culmination of years of dedication, hard work, and perhaps just a few sleepless nights. Moreover, receiving this degree may serve as part of your personal testimony about the struggles you had to endure and overcome to get to this day. It could have been financial struggles, family-related struggles, health struggles, academic struggles, or the like. The law school experience has molded you for your upcoming journey. And what would have been a great law school experience without a distinguished faculty? And we have a distinguished faculty at this law school. The faculty is filled with distinguished scholars who also really love to teach students. The faculty pushed you, challenged you, and helped shape your legal mind. Some of the professors that taught me decades ago are still, thankfully, part of the institution's fabric. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Judge Diane Wood and mentioned that she taught me civil procedure. She didn't appreciate that much because of the passage of time, but in any event, she was one of the people that helped mold my legal mind. And one other person I saw here today is Professor Jeff Stone, who is celebrating 50 years of service to the university. But you, thankfully, have also been guided by a new generation of professors, professors who are now or soon become thought leaders in their respective areas. But a great law school needs more than just a top-notch faculty. It needs outstanding students like you. Your passion, your intellect, and your thirst for knowledge played an important role in creating an unmatched dynamic learning laboratory for this class. Now, when it comes to law school graduation speeches, the verse, there's nothing new under the sun probably rings true. And while there's probably nothing new that needs to be said, there are things that need to be said to reinforce certain points that are important to achieving long-term success in a legal career. And I'm going to make a couple of points. Point number one, your predictive power is far weaker than you think and believe. Some of you have developed a career plan for the next 10 years or more. For example, you've identified the organizations for which you will work, the cities in which you will live, the accomplishments or promotions you plan to achieve, and the timetable for achieving those various goals. But let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with planning your career. It's a good thing. A plan can help you create a rough roadmap for future achievements. But plans are usually anchored in predictions. Planning involves making decisions based on events you predict will occur or not occur at some point in the future. The problem is that our limited predictive power hinders our planning abilities. To put it mildly, predicting the future is very difficult. The National Weather Service has all these various supercomputer models that are running around the clock trying to predict weather for today, tomorrow, next week, or weeks in the future, yet the organization sometimes flubs the snow forecast for the next 24 hours. Financial organizations use these complicated computer models to predict how the stock market will perform over the next day, the next month, the next year, the next 10 years. And as you probably know, those predictions often turn out to be, well, wrong. The real world, whether you're focused on nature, the stock market, or human behavior, is very complex, and poor data quality and unanticipated events can lead to unpredicted future outcomes. As Philip Tetlock put it, it's misguided to think anyone can see very far in the future. The question for you is, how accurately can you predict the course of your career journey over the next 5 years, let alone 10 years or 20 years? Back in the early 1980s, I did not predict I would be a lawyer. I never even thought about being a lawyer. When I entered law school in 1988, I did not predict I would attain a judicial clerkship or I would begin working at Kirkland & Ellis. In 1992, I did not predict I would spend my entire legal career, more than 30 years, at Kirkland & Ellis. 5 years ago, I didn't predict that I would join the University of Chicago Board of Trustees. And a year ago, I did not predict I would ever receive an award from the law school. The list goes on and on. Yet each of these unpredicted and unplanned events play a pivotal role in having a fulfilling career. One of my favorite psychology books is by Professor Dan Gilbert. It's called Stumbling on Happiness. In the first few pages of the book, Dr. Gilbert makes a pretty thought-provoking comment. The human being is the only animal that actually thinks about the future. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, what about those squirrels? Every autumn, they're actually out there digging up acorns and storing food. They must be thinking about the future and planning for the future. Not according to Dr. Gilbert or sources such as Psychology Today. That's just a biological storage program that runs every animal at a certain time of the year. It is instinct, not insight. Now, Gilbert explains that as it relates to humans, we base many of today's decisions on predictions about the future. We spend significant amount of time as humans trying to predict how future events will make the future us feel. And we try to plan accordingly. If event A happens in the future, will that make future me happy? If event B does not happen in the future, will that make future me sad or depressed? According to Gilbert, the problem is that humans are just bad at predicting the future. They're bad at predicting what will make them happy or sad in the future. He says this shortcoming arises because of how our minds operate. When imagining a future event, such as your career, what happens is the mind lacks or leaves out important information about that future event or the consequences of the event. Equally important, how we feel now about an event can erroneously influence how we think we will feel about the future in the event. I will digress with an example. And this is an example similar to what Gilbert uses. You go to 5-year-old Johnny and you say to 5-year-old Johnny, Johnny, what would you like to be when you become 20 years old? What would make a fulfilling career for you? Johnny smiles, thinks about it, looks up to you and says, I would like to drive a clown car. Now, many of you would know probably Johnny is not going to have a fulfilling career driving a clown car. But why is Johnny making that decision? Well, Johnny is making that decision for two reasons. One, Johnny does not understand some of the ins and outs of the life of being a clown car driver, point number one. And two, Johnny is answering that he would like to be a clown car driver in the future because he wants to be a clown car driver at that moment. Now, as we mature, we get better at analyzing situations and predicting, but we should not pat ourselves on the back because we're not all that good. Now, one of the things that happens is, despite all this wonderful planning and the numerous predictions that we have about the future, you will likely incorrectly predict the impact that certain events are going to have on you. You're going to not correctly predict what events will have on the determination as to whether or not you're going to have a fulfilling career. In planning, you may assume that an achievement 10 years from now will make the future you happy. Perhaps that's because that achievement, if it occurred right now, would make you happy. Right now, you might predict that in 2034, becoming a partner at a prestigious law firm is necessary for a fulfilling career. You may be wrong because a lot can change in 10 years. While certain achievements are certainly worth striving for, please recognize that those achievements may not bring you the fulfillment that you currently predict. Likewise, an inability to achieve some planned goal may not be as devastating as you predict. Now, given your limited power to predict what will lead to a fulfilling career over the long term, please do not wed yourself to inflexible career plans. Over the next 5, 10, 20 years, various aspects of your life should and will change. Unanticipated challenges will arise, unplanned relationships will develop and evolve, and unexpected opportunities will appear. These new events should cause you to reevaluate what will bring you fulfillment and joy. What you value most today may not be what you will value most in the future. Point number 2, always remain a person of integrity. While you cannot fully control whether a certain career-related event will materialize, there is one aspect of your career that you do fully control, and it should serve as a compass as you plan your career: integrity. Integrity is not simply about complying with state-issued ethical standards. Integrity is also about being honest, being fair, being true to your values, and respecting others, even under the most difficult circumstances. Integrity is a valuable asset that you should never sell, trade, or barter away. Years ago, famed investor Warren Buffett said that Berkshire Hathaway looked for 3 qualities when it was hiring individuals: intelligence, initiative, and integrity. He remarked that if a person does not have integrity, then the first 2 qualities, intelligence and initiative, will kill you. He quipped, if you're going to hire somebody with no integrity, you do not want the person to be smart and have initiative. You want the person to be dumb and lazy. Well, as it turns out, law school graduates generally possess intelligence and they have initiative. And that means that a lack of integrity can result in major problems for those around them. There are numerous examples of lawyers who have engaged in unethical, dishonest, and outright illegal activities, resulting in significant harm to clients and to others. Now, as you're sitting here today, your integrity may be unwavering. You can keep it that way. In the future, you will encounter the pressures of job performance, career advancement, financial success, and time deadlines. These various pressures may tempt you to compromise your values, beginning with small ethical lapses, the temptation to bend the truth to meet a deadline, the temptation to claim that you worked a few minutes longer than you actually worked to meet your billable hours goals, the temptation to exaggerate your skills and experience to attract a new client. Do not fall victim to these various temptations. These small ethical lapses can accumulate quickly. They can become increasingly easy to rationalize, and they can create a slope for your integrity to begin sliding downhill rapidly. Make sure that your integrity remains a guiding principle as you plan your career. Constantly evaluate your actions, your decisions, and plans to ensure you're not compromising your values and beliefs. Knowing that your actions and plans are always aligned with your values and beliefs should provide you with some level of inner peace, fulfillment, and satisfaction. Indeed, research suggests a strong correlation between unwavering integrity and one's sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. The bottom line is that the combination of integrity, flexibility, resilience, and perseverance should help you counter the unpredictability of the legal profession. It should position you for growth, and it should lead you to a more fulfilling career. And who knows, you may end up stumbling on happiness instead of actually planning for it or predicting it. In closing, I know you've received a wonderful legal education, just like earlier generations of students did. The education has provided you with vital tools to help you craft your career and to frankly make this world a better place. Now, as you walk across the stage to receive your diploma and your hood, be joyful and be proud of your accomplishments. but also take time to be thankful for all the support that you have received and will continue to receive from family, friends, colleagues, former teachers, and others. You did not achieve and you will not achieve great things on your own. And that's not a prediction, that's a fact. Congratulations, class of 2024. We expect and await more great achievements from you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Barry. It is now my honor to introduce our faculty speaker, Judge Diane Wood. Diane Wood is senior lecturer at the law school and the director of the American Law Institute. Judge Wood is a leading scholar of civil procedure, antitrust, and the law of international trade and business. She has led an extraordinary career as a scholar and teacher, public servant, and advocate for the law itself. Judge Wood received both her undergraduate degree with highest honors and her law degree with high honors from the University of Texas at Austin. She was also the president of the Texas Law Review. She clerked for Judge Irving Goldberg of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, and then for Justice Harry Blackmun of the U.S. Supreme Court. She worked as an attorney advisor in the State Department and practiced at a leading law firm before beginning her academic career at Georgetown. She joined our faculty in 1981. As a full-time faculty member, Judge Wood was a prolific and influential scholar, an admired teacher, and a selfless institutional servant. She became the Harold J. and Marion F. Green Professor of International Legal Studies, and in so doing, she was the first woman on our faculty honored with a named professorship. She also served as the law school's associate dean. Judge Wood's academic life has been interspersed with government service. For example, she served as the Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Antitrust Division of the Department of Justice. In 1995, she was unanimously confirmed to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. And during her judicial service, Judge Wood has issued thousands of opinions. Her opinions are acclaimed for their brilliance, their precision, their command of the law. As one commentator put it, Judge Wood's decisions possess an uncommon force of intellect and an unparalleled diligence. One of our faculty colleagues praised her opinions as lucid, careful, measured, and seeing complexity in a realistic way. From 2012 to 2020, Judge Wood served as the chief judge of the circuit, and in so doing, she became the third member of our faculty following Richard Posner and Frank Easterbrook to serve as the chief judge of a circuit court. I believe our law school remains the only law school to have had 3 former tenured faculty members become chief judges of a federal appellate court. Upon joining the bench, Judge Wood became senior lecturer at the law school. This is a category of academic appointment that is perhaps the most rarely awarded at the law school. A very small number of others have been senior lecturer at the law school, and they include Judge Richard Posner, Judge Frank Easterbrook, and future President Barack Obama. Not bad company. Throughout her time on the bench, Judge Wood has continued to publish extensively, serve numerous legal and academic organizations, and teach our students, especially in civil procedure. Our students consistently praise her teaching as amazing and great, highlighting her encyclopedic knowledge, or as one student put it, she exudes intelligence, competence, and knowledge at every turn. Another student wrote that having Diane Wood teach you civil procedure is like having Bobby Fischer teach you chess. Last month, Judge Wood fully retired from the court, and yet she has already begun a new job, the director of the American Law Institute, or ALI. As our graduates know, the ALI is the leading independent organization in the U.S. that works to clarify, modernize, and improve the law. The work of the ALI, especially through its issuance of restatements, principles, and model codes, has done much to reduce the unnecessary complexity and uncertainty of the law. It is an honor to have her as our faculty speaker. Please join me in welcoming Judge Diane Wood.
Well, thank you, Dean Miles, for that very generous introduction. And of course, I begin by giving my most sincere congratulations to the class of 2024. Please. It is a great treat to have the chance to share a few thoughts with you as you wrap up your time at the law school. I decided after careful thought that my topic was going to be the art of agreeable disagreement. This is something that turns out to be a skill that's necessary not only on a court of appeals and not only as a member of the faculty, but I think actually in life. Less than 3 years ago, you all showed up at the law school, as Dean Miles noted, and as I will put it in the words of a song from the old Broadway play Kismet, to sharpen up the edges of your wits. Whether you knew it then or not, your choice of the University of Chicago for your initial plunge into the legal profession came with a certain amount of baggage. The law school is famous around the world for the vigor, indeed passion, of its intellectual discourse among students, between faculty and students, and among faculty. In the course of engaging in that discourse, it was and remains inevitable that some sharp elbows are sometimes thrown. Someone thinks that the Second Amendment embodies sweeping protections for the right to own and use firearms. Someone else, examining the same historical record, thinks that the amendment tolerates restrictions on the type and number of arms a person is entitled to bear. Or the person sitting next to you, even today, might strongly support the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs against Jackson Women's Health Organization to overrule Roe v. Wade, while the person next to the Dobbs supporter might be equally convinced that principles of equal protection and individual autonomy lead inexorably to federal constitutional protection for women's reproductive decisions. Some sincerely believe that race-conscious policies are the only path toward a more equal society, while others think that such policies are a contradiction in terms. And these examples just scratch the surface. I'm sure each of you here, both in the students and the audience, can think of your own list of controversial topics, maybe the role of religion in the public square, the correctness of and the consequences of the Citizens United decision about campaign contribution rules, the role that immigrants play in our society and economy, the extent to which lengthy prison terms or even the death penalty should be used as criminal sanctions, and on and on. There is no escaping these discussions in law school, or at least in our law school, because they are the stuff of law, in the sense of the rules and norms we have agreed to follow, in the hope that we can create a fair, productive, and enriching civil society. These issues all have one thing in common. They raise the kind of tension and discomfort that cause families to avoid them over Thanksgiving dinner, lest strong disagreement morph into family feud. The trick, as we have been reminded again in recent weeks, is to find a way to articulate your position in a way that is honest, respectful, and stands some chance of being productive. No one says this is easy. Ask any person who, like me, has served as a judge on a multi-member court. Time and again, the members of a 3-judge panel or of the larger en banc court confront the task of deciding a case that hinges on one or more of these hot-button issues. And however the judges resolve it, they need to show up at work the next day, ready to tackle the next case, with the same people who might have taken a view that some regard as disappointing, ill-considered, frustrating, or just plain wrong. That is where the art of disagreement takes center stage, not only for judges, but for anyone who finds themselves face to face with a highly contentious problem that they are duty-bound to resolve, working with people who, to put it kindly, are not on the same page as they are. This art of agreeing and not agreeing, of disagreeing agreeably, starts with some basics. No matter what, do not descend into ad hominem, or if you like Latin words, ad feminam language, even if your opponent is not displaying the same self-restraint. And no argument improves by being delivered at the top of one's lungs, as I occasionally had to remind lawyers in court. Finally, even though it might feel tempting at times to sweep these tough issues under the rug, or otherwise to avoid them, frankly, a University of Chicago graduate can and indeed must do better than that. I am willing to assume that you are more than up to the task. How many classes have you sat in, listening to your fellow students or maybe the professor say something provoking? Probably plenty. But you might say the classroom environment is just the ivory tower, the basic ivory tower, where everyone has a chance to take the floor, people listen politely while someone else is speaking, and there's some guidance from the professor. The classroom, though, is, as we've already heard, hardly the only place at the law school where you were learning not just law, but how to be a great lawyer. Conversations that began in class spilled out into the hallways. Speakers came espousing all viewpoints at all times during the week. Student organizations abound. It is possible, maybe even likely, that you gravitated to the ones that reflected your own preferences and views. But those on the opposite side were available too, and I hope that you took advantage of the opportunity to avoid the echo chamber. As your time at the law school has unfolded, you may have wondered whether respectful discourse is even possible over issues as huge as the Israel-Gaza war or the war in Ukraine or the university's role in such matters. My answer is that, imperfect, frustrating, and slow as debate may seem, all of the other options are worse. There is no substitute, whether on a court or in a quadrangle, for open-minded and careful listening to what other people are saying. Only by knowing their concerns is it possible to begin the process of seeing whether there is any common ground between or among the sides. Do the Venn diagrams overlap at all, or are they in completely different books? Even if no common ground emerges at first blush, the story isn't over. Find out what really bothers the other person. Maybe they have a point. Maybe even if you aren't persuaded, you can meet them halfway on something, or begin the process of developing an action plan that works for resolution of that issue. And a lot of things can be on the table, more than just, quote, winning or losing the immediate dispute. You should be playing the long game, and that will make a difference every time. To borrow a line from Carly Simon, nobody does it better than the law school. And an important reason why I say that comes back to those sharp elbows I mentioned at the outset. People work hard here. They critique ideas relentlessly. I won't say mercilessly, because the spirit of collaboration is always present. And good ideas, indeed better ones than anyone had at the beginning, emerge from this spirited debate. I look forward to seeing all of you advance the conversation, never shying away from the difficult topics. Good luck and congratulations again.
Thank you, Judge Wood. Please join me one more time in thanking Mr. Barry Fields and Judge Diane Wood. We will now proceed to the awarding of degrees and the hooding of the graduates.
Dean Miles, it is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the law school. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Laws by the Board of Trustees.
I congratulate these graduates on the successful completion of a program of advanced study in the law school, culminating in the degree of Master of Laws.
Will the graduates please come forward to receive your diploma and then your academic hood as I call your name? Cristina A. Serres. Patricia de Arruda Camargo Mendoza Almeida. Teresia Azalia. Ksenia Belyaeva. Paulo Miguel Bernardo. Eleni Bitzica. Gonzalo José Bolio Benitez. Cameron Richard. Guang Yu Chen. Shi Tung Chun. Tanvi Sachin Babir. Wen Chin Dai. Yung Lun Dong. Pedro Enrique de Castro Oliveira. Miriam Elizabeth M. Deckmin. Ioannis Delis. Nicolas Doquier. Nicolás Fernández de Oliveira Versignasi. Julia Coutinho Gonçalves Ferreira. Guilherme Afonso Ferreira de Camargo. María Raquel Fuenzalida Walker. Shan Gao. Rohan Ghosh Roy. Simon Amons. María Daniela Hernández Castillo. Tomotaka Himori. Taiki Hirono. Tomoko Hirono. Tengteng Huang. Daniela Huertas Vergara. Amanda Ibanez Molina. Masahiro Ikeda. Masaki Ikeda. Florence Jasmine Yeager. Xianyi Zhuang. Rainer Faustine Jonathan. Fensel Kina. Bosul Kim. Jamie Amelia Lang. Carla Legros Didier. Xiaofeng Li. Xi Peng Liang. Yu Liu. Yu Xing Liu. Yin Qing Lu. Yihan Luo. Tufshin Tuguldur Maralku. Johann Maximilian Michael Maisgeier. Paula Melendro. Tiago Mendes de Oliveira. Laxika Monkol Tiparat. Mateus Mendes Nazaret. Xi Fa Peng. Luca Peraki Pineiro Machado. Arturo Portilla Ariza. Carlos Eduardo Romero Chávez. Thais Osi. Ajari Ruji Ralawan. Víctor Sales de Figueiredo. Luciano Salgado Campos Neto. Mami Sengan. Luisa E. Serrano. Johann Matthew Donald Smallberger. Gonzalo Alejandro Soto Saldías. Ri Na Su. Jack Shelford Trivella. Willem Valerius M. van de Putte. Caio Bernardes Viana. Eduardo Minsac. Yu Wan. Michel Lutgarde N. Villert. Baunuan Yao. Zhu Wang Yu. Yi Ni Shu. Xi Shu. Congratulations to the LLM class of 2024. Dean Miles, it is my honor to present the student who has completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the law school. This student has been awarded the degree of Master of Legal Studies by the Board of Trustees.
I congratulate the graduate on the successful completion of a program of study in the law school, culminating in the degree Master of Legal Studies.
Will the graduate please come forward to receive your diploma and then your academic hood as I call your name? Jeffrey Jacob Channinson. Jake is being hooded by his father, Stephen Channinson. Congratulations to the MLS class of 2024. Dean Miles, it is my honor to present these students who have attained scholarly distinction in advanced studies and have prepared a dissertation which contributes to knowledge in a particular field of research. On behalf of the faculty of the law school, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Jurisprudence as conferred by the Board of Trustees.
I congratulate these graduates on the successful completion of a program of advanced study in the law school, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Jurisprudence.
Will the graduates please come forward to receive your diploma and then your academic hood as I call your name? Chung Chia Huang. Patrick is being hooded by his faculty advisor, Professor Lee Fennell. Natalia Niedman Alvarez. Natalia is being hooded by her faculty advisor, Professor Alison LaCroix. Shubho Roy. Shubho is being hooded by his faculty advisor, Professor Anup Malani. Congratulations to the JSD class of 2024.
Dean Miles, it is my honor to present these students who have fulfilled all of the requirements prescribed by the faculty of the law school to qualify them for the profession of law. They have been awarded the degree of Doctor of Law by the Board of Trustees.
I congratulate these graduates on the successful completion of a program of study in the law school, culminating in the degree of Doctor of Law.
Will the graduates please come forward to receive your diploma and then your academic hood as I call your name? Rachel Caitlin Abrams. Parker Isaac Opp. Luis Aguilera. Malik R. Allen. John Raphael Almaguer. Joseph Block Amder. Scott David Andreevsky. Thomas Michael Antonino. Tanvi Antu. Bethany Ron Au. Isabel Martha Argueta. Noah V. Barbieri. Misha G. Beckman White. Zoe Elise Belford. Zoe is being hooded by her parent, Craig Belford. Nathaniel Graham Gardner Berry.
Congratulations. Well done.
Rupan Krishna Bharanidharan. Nicholas C. Bindi. Evan Mark Blanchard Wu. Kelly Elizabeth Blessing. Joshua Samuel Bluestein. Rolando Ishmael Bonachea. Laura Elizabeth Breckenridge. Cordell Anthony Brown. Kazao T. Bui. Brantley Allen Butcher. Gabrielle Sylvie Candice. Sydney Chapman. Mobeen Farouk Chaudhry. Jordan Moss Cohen. Natalie Rachel Cohn Aronoff. Bridget F. Conlon. Julia Elizabeth Crane. River Isidore Crane. Juan Jose Crespo Pedrechi. Millicent Hillock Kripe. Esther Cross. Garrett Evan Cunningham. Michelle Angela David. Isabel Mary Dewhurst. Elena DeRosa. Darius Capano Diamond. Anna Elizabeth Dinsher. David Gabriel Doctorman. Neil Alexander DeCurno. Kirandeep S. Dosanjh. Maxwell Driskovich. Andrew Hayes Eller. Naomi Jane Elliott. Elisa Catherine Epstein. Elisa is being hooded by her parent, Catherine Masters. Ishmael A. Faruqi. Caitlin Byrne Ferguson. Caroline Lawson Ferguson. Hartson W. Fillmore II. Daniel Fishman. Ileana R. Fleischer. Madeline Claire Fleming. Curtis L. Fulham II. Sage Garcia. Blaze Vincent Gargiulo. Catherine Peach Galing. Hannah Vinley George. Renee Noel Gerard. Sarah Lucy Goldfarb. David Graff. David is being hooded by his father, Charles Graff. Elise A. Gramlich. Courtney Bear Green. Jed Thomas Greenberg. Leah Haddad. Claire Anna Haldeman. Alexander Tyler Hall. Emily Jennifer Hall. Jason T. Hanselman. Shayla Janelle Harris. Caroline Harrison. Mary Catherine Healy. Lauren Kate Hirsch. Sophia Hannah Hudegi. Georgia Huang. Adrian Ivashkev. Caleb Parker Jeffries. Michael H. Jung. Julia Maria Kaba Aboud. Julia is being hooded by her brother, Mateus Kaba Aboud. Kristen E. Kane. Ethan S. Kaplan. Molly Olivia Kernan. Caroline Maria Kelly. Ramis Saeed Khan. Tala Asai Kelgati. Joseph James Maury Kiernan. Bryant Alexander King. Morgan D. King. Nicole Kaufman. Bill Kosmitis. Isaac Legrand. Elizabeth Atkinson Lamb. Daniel Zachary Landy. Tyler Alicia Lawson. Dustin M. Leanhouts. Joshua Jack Leopold. Julia Monique Linares. Benjamin Daniel Lipkin. Joseph Marsh Lorenzini. Maya Ray Laurie. Elizabeth Van Hoven Maltby. James E. Marmaduke. Elisa Martin. Rebecca Caroline Marvin. Kayla Madeline Massey. Matthew Reed Moxon. Michael Vincent McCall. Natalia Angelina McLaren. Benjamin Sean Meyer. Tyler Thomas McCulis. Carl Arthur Miller. Emily Ann Miner. Mason Glenn Moody. Ethan Edward Moore. Camille Louise Ndi Miller. Alexander Newman. Allison Kathleen O'Connor. William Grant Oken. Miriam Oilola Adepeju Oladipo. Pierre Marie Oppenheimer. Pierre Marie is being hooded by her father, Mark Randall Oppenheimer. Tiffany Pages Sanchez. Sarah Pock. Joseph Norman Partain. Stanley Hopkins Peavy IV. Jacob Warwick Peckett. George Rafael Pereira. Christian Antoine Pierre Cano. Megan Chiyoung Wei Pitt. Lee Alexander Place. Emma Lacey Poplack. Emilia Anna Perubchin. Benjamin Postone. Derek Anthony Ray. Jenna Francis Ray. Claire Christina Raitan. Nicholas W. Ryder. Kelsey L. Roberts. Sarah Hammond Roberts. Maximilian Air Rowe. Michael David Rust. Catherine Rose Ryan. Nicholas Arthur Sanders. Ryan Slade Schlussman. Alexa D. Schneider. Jamie Kathleen Selby. Jamie is being hooded by her father, Douglas Selby. Amara Zareen Sheikh. Jason Ruben Shane. Laura C. Shannon. Michelle C. Shen. Yasmin Kumari Sharesta. Grace Slawpock. Morgan Haley Smith. Nicholas Blackburn Smith. Aubrielle J. Smoot. Burke Allen Snowden. Carl Gustav Stoffeld. Emma V. Stapleton. Catherine Stevenson. Juliana K. Stewart. Corey Stewart. Richard Peter Stillman. Taylor Stewart. Taha Suturwala. Ricardo Taboada. Benjamin Wade Tolley. Alina Minna Tariq. Kayla D. Toit. Erica Rachel Teets. Jessica Elizabeth Tomlin. Sebastian Rafael Torrero. Matthew M. Trevisani. Ivy True Trong. Danielle Mackenzie Tycody. Danielle is being hooded by her father, Daniel Tycody. Kristen Van Tyne. Benjamin Hugh Velez. Stephen Gregory Vukovitz. Nathan B. Walker. Shiyu Wan. Sarah Wang. Zizi Wang. Z-E. Catherine Emery Weaver. Alexandra T. Webb. Margaret Emma Wells. Theodore John Westenberg. Amanda Kate Williams. Max Wilner Gewerk. Malcolm Crane Yeary. Aaron Allison Yonchek. Warren Edward Yu. Yihe Zhang. Keith Everett Zimmerman. Gabrielle Joy Zook. Congratulations to the JD class of 2024.
Okay, now two final instructions. Please allow the academic party to process out and then the graduates to process out before leaving the chapel. Second, please come across the street to join us for reception at the law school. Please do that relatively promptly because another unit of the university will be coming in to use the chapel. This concludes the 26th annual hooding ceremony of the University of Chicago Law School. Congratulations, class of 2024.